In a lake house, Vanessa, who is struggling to deal with the grief of losing her son, stares out the window at the forest, lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, a bird hits the glass, startling her. She goes outside to look at the bird, and her husband Alex approaches, saying that dead birds signify the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one, as he tries to hold her hand. However, Vanessa walks away. She enters a room and places a box on the side table. Looking at the empty room, she finds it hard to let go of the pain. Later, Vanessa asks Alex and his brother Martel if they heard a sound like an explosion from the forest last night, but neither did. Martel mentions a facility that was closed down in the forest, rumored to have conducted strange experiments and involved in people disappearing. Alex dismisses it as just conspiracy theories by their father, who had disappeared on them. Martel believes their dad was searching for something, but Alex dismisses it. Vanessa decides to take a walk alone in the forest to find peace. Martel gives her a rifle for protection against wild animals and inadvertently mentions their deceased son, Obi's name. Vanessa is triggered and leaves. Alex catches up trying to calm her down. Vanessa asks him if he wishes she had died instead of Obi in the car accident. Alex reassures her that he has forgiven her and doesn't want to lose her too, but Vanessa just walks away. Vanessa crosses the lake in a boat and arrives at the forest. She walks through the woods for a while and then sits down to enjoy the peaceful surroundings when she hears a rustling movement. As she stands to investigate, someone suddenly shoots at her. She quickly takes cover behind a tree and fires back, hitting the person in the leg. Looking through the scope, she is shocked to discover that the person looks exactly like her. At the house, Alex is worried as it has been 2 hours since Vanessa has been out in the forest, and he tries to contact her. Just then, Vanessa comes back looking terrified. Alex tries to ask her what happened, but she lies, saying she saw a bear, and quickly goes to her room. Alex catches up to her and assures her that he will always be by her side, asking her not to shut him out. He reminds her that what happened was an accident, and they need to move on. Vanessa snaps and tells him that they can't have a normal life, begging him to leave. She then searches for her medicine but decides not to take it. Alex seeks comfort in Martel, who advises him to give Vanessa time since it has only been a year since they lost their son. Martel encourages Alex to be patient with both himself and Vanessa. Afterward, while Vanessa watches old videos of her son, Alex finds her and invites her to join them for dinner outside if she wants. On her way to the backyard, she notices some physics formulas written on the board. Alex is pleased to see Vanessa join them for dinner. Martel shares a past incident when their father took him and Alex fishing, and he almost drowned. This event deeply affected him, instilling a strong need to never lose control again, which led him to alcoholism. However, he eventually realized that life is beyond our control, and we are always exactly where we are meant to be. Since then, he has been sober. Vanessa gets offended and gets up to leave. Martel attempts to help, but accidentally burns his hand. He then leaves to take care of it. Vanessa enters the house and finds Martel pouring himself a glass of whiskey. She confronts him, asking if everything he said outside was just nonsense. She then notices that the burn on his hand has already healed, which she finds strange. Martel makes an excuse and leaves. As she turns around, she is shocked to see Martel walking towards her with his hand already bandaged. That night, unable to sleep, Vanessa grabs a weapon and decides to seek answers in the forest. She enters the woods and finds a locked fence with blood on it. After crossing it, she wanders deeper into the woods until she reaches a natural tree arch. Passing through it, she continues her walk. Hours later, she comes across the arch again, and looking through it, she sees the same surroundings as before. Confused, she looks back and is shocked to find both directions appear exactly the same, causing her to panic. She ties her scarf to a branch and marks the trees as she goes, but when she arrives at the arch again, the scarf is gone. Vanessa tries to backtrack using her own markers, but they have disappeared as well. She desperately tries to find a way out, but each time she ends up back at the arch. Eventually, she sits down inside the arch, on the verge of a breakdown. When she looks again and finds that the path is different this time, she quickly leaves, crossing the fence again without noticing that the bloodstains are gone. Vanessa returns home and tries to explain to Alex what happened to her in the forest, but Alex is skeptical and suggests she takes her medication. He insists that this situation needs to stop, mentioning that he has apologized numerous times for being the driver in the car accident that killed their son and asks if she wishes he had died that day instead. Vanessa is confused and says that she was the one driving. Alex believes she is losing her sanity and gives her the medication, but she notices that the bottles, which should be yellow, are blue. Just then, Martel enters with a bandage on his left hand, but Vanessa remembers his right hand being injured. Panicked, she escapes the house and heads back into the forest. She is trying to figure things out and ends up at the arch again. Suddenly she hears a noise and sees someone approaching. She immediately hides and warns the person that she has a rifle. The person walks out and reveals to be Alex, who explains that he isn't her Alex but from a different universe, as Vanessa notices that he isn't wearing a wedding ring. Alex convinces her to follow him and talk, and she agrees. Then this Alex takes out a cigarette, which surprises Vanessa because her Alex doesn't smoke. Alex explains that each version of themselves has few minor differences in every parallel universe. He says he is a physicist and explains the multiverse theory, showing her his diagram, which is the same as the one she saw on the board at her house before. He reveals that the squares represent their origin place, and these connecting points are where they can cross over. Each space has another version of them, but they can't coexist in the same space where another version already exists. They share how each other is like in their universe, and Alex says his Vanessa left him and lost herself in the forest, but he is determined to find her. Vanessa asks him if he has ever seen Obey, but Alex says in all the places he's visited, he either died or never existed. Alex tells Vanessa he has a plan that might help them find their original universe using fishing wire as a guide. He suggests that if Vanessa holds one end and he takes the other end while exploring spaces, this connection will help him return to the same spot. However, they need more fishing wire, so they decide to stop by another universe. They find some fishing wire as well as some explosives. At this moment, Martel finds them. He is drunk and depressed, apologizing for causing a car accident that killed Alex and Vanessa, who was 8 months pregnant. He begs them to stop haunting him, unaware that he's actually seeing versions of them from alternate spaces. They advise him to forgive himself and then return to the forest. They secure the wire to a tree and decide on a code word to use when they meet again. Room 1111, bed 8, which was the hospital room where Alex's son stayed before he died. Alex then shares the first time he found himself crossing into another space, where he saw 2 Martels. One of them said their dad was right before both ran into the forest. Alex followed them to that arch, but they were gone, and he got lost ever since. Vanessa tells her story about how she had shot her other version. Alex then leaves. The next morning, Vanessa sees the wire move and notices Alex coming back. They use their secret code to confirm his identity. Alex shares that he has figured out how to navigate between universes. He plans to blow up every entrance that leads to the other world to ensure they don't return to the same space again. Vanessa shares that she has been constantly thinking about the accident and realizes that there is nothing she can do to change it. Alex tries to comfort her, but she says that she can't replace his wife, just as he can't replace her husband, and she needs to find him. That night, as Vanessa waits for Alex, the fishing wire moves. She whispers their secret code, but there's no response. She then puts out the fire and decides to follow the fishing wire, which leads her to a house. She sneaks in and finds Alex. She exchanges the code with him, but he looks confused and mentions she went into the woods and disappeared. Vanessa asks which hand Martel burned, and when Alex says the right hand, Vanessa realizes she's back in her original world and hugs Alex, but he pushes her away. Vanessa tries to explain that they need to keep crossing spaces until they can find their son. Just then, Martel shows up. As Vanessa turns around, Alex grabs a bottle and knocks her out. Vanessa wakes up to find herself tied to a chair, with Alex pointing a gun at her, claiming she is not his Vanessa. He then reveals he has killed Vanessa, showing a body with a gunshot wound in the leg nearby. Vanessa tries to explain that the multiverse is real, but Alex refuses to believe her and intends to shoot her. Martel tries to stop him, and as they struggle for the gun, it accidentally fires, and Alex ends up dead. Later, as Vanessa leaves the house and heads to the forest, she hears Martel take his own life. The next day, Vanessa finds a dead Alex and notices he doesn't have a wedding ring, but he does have the mark of one. She then walks through the arch to a universe where she sees a happy family, but she leaves and returns to the forest. Sometime later, Alex shows up, and they exchange the secret code. Vanessa tells him that she lost everyone she loves and notices he's wearing a ring, realizing that he had killed another Alex to take his place. She confronts him, but Alex suggests her to do the same to find peace. However, she refuses, stating that she is not a murderer. Alex tells her that she will come through a difficult situation where she will have to make the same choice. He then drags the dead Alex inside the tree and plants the bomb to close this space before asking Vanessa to leave. After a while, as Vanessa sits down to take a break, another Vanessa suddenly shows up and points her rifle at her. Vanessa realizes that this other Vanessa is the physicist Alex's wife, who knows about the multiverse theory and intends to shoot her because she knows that they can't exist in the same space. Vanessa attacks her doppelganger, grabs a stone, and hits her in the head, accidentally killing her. Vanessa runs away and steps into another universe. She enters a house, takes a shower, and then lies down on the bed, eventually falling asleep. The next day, she is awakened by a bird crashing into the window. When she goes outside to check, an Alex approaches and says the same things that her Alex said at the beginning. This time, Vanessa allows him to hold her hand, and they share a kiss. Once back inside the house, Martel informs her that she had been asleep for more than 13 hours, and they were concerned. When Alex suggests going hiking, both Vanessa and Martel immediately reject the idea in unison. Vanessa then takes the box and walks into a room with kids' clothes and hears Obey calling out for Mom.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our channel for more videos.